Welcome to episode 7 of PodQuest, the gaming show that challenges Santa Claus to a round of Mortal Kombat to find out what his fatality is.
It's a friendship.
It's friendship?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Seen
It's pretty true. How's everything? How's everything going today, guys?
Good. Very good.
Paul, you were looking very festive today.
I have to bring cheer to my friends, and part of bringing cheer to Kelsy and Dustin, since, well, we didn't do introductions, but I'm sure if you're watching this, you know who we are by now. Part of bringing cheer to two of the people I spend a lot of time with these days and enjoy their company is getting them gifts. Because it's Christmas.
I thought this was the gift.
So I've got one for K-Dog.
Ooh.
K-Dog.
I go by Special K normally.
And not normal to me. And self-titled Big D.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. So these gifts both mean something.
Something that we've talked about?
Or something that I feel represents me to you guys, so I live eternally in your house.
I'll let Kelsey do his first.
Okay.
He's almost there.
I don't know if you have that already.
I do, but now I have one I can open and put places.
Perfect.
I don't normally do that. I've got Proto Man.
Because I am the Proto Man of Kelsey's life. We're like Vegeta and Goku.
Thanks, buddy.
Well, that kind of
Goku.
I'm Vegeta.
Okay.
That kind of goes with the gift that I got Kelsey earlier.
That is
exactly.
amazing. I'm gonna open that up and put them out here.
You wanna grab that? Paul, show?
Yeah. Dustin off camera just before this brought me a Pixel Pal Mega Man, and now he's got a buddy.
A non-Pixel Pal.
A non-Pixel Pal.
Yeah, so we got Mega Man
Proto
and Proto
Man.
Man. Me hanging out here. That's awesome.
Oh, it's Gohan.
And I got
Young Gohan.
Young Gohan for Dustin because of my love for Dragon Ball, Dustin's appreciation for Dragon Ball, and I feel that now Gohan can represent me in Dustin's house all the time. And I'm kind of like a young, spunky Gohan.
I thought you were saying, like, I'm the young guy of the group. But
that works
But
as
I'm
well.
also the most... I will eventually become the most powerful warrior in the entire...
Here. We have Goku, Vegeta, and Gohan. We are the PodQuest Saiyans.
I can live with being Gohan.
Yeah,
Gohan's
nice.
pretty
I like
badass
that.
when he becomes an adult.
You
I
watch
like
more
that.
Dragon Ball, apparently.
Ho, ho, ho. Happy, merry holiday
buddy.
season.
Happy holidays, Paul. Thank
Happy
you.
non-denominational holiday festivities.
Festivus.
Yep.
All right. Why don't we get into what we played this week? Let's start with Kelsey.
What have I played this week? It's been a busy week, so I haven't played a whole lot. I've been playing this online card game called Eternal.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically Magic cards, but digital, which is nice because I like to draft all the time, and it's hard to get 7 other people physically in a room to do like a Magic draft, so I can kind of do this whenever I have time, and it's been awesome.
And Kelsey has been killing the ranking system in it. I saw him not too long ago, earlier in the week. He was like 82.
48 now.
48. Yeah. Big jumps. Like
Big jumps.
Mario Moons. He's just...
Moon gravity jumps.
Moon gravity jumps. I like it. I like it a lot.
So I'm probably going to keep plugging away at that one over Christmas here.
Anything else?
That's pretty much it. Dustin and me are working on something we'll have up soon, but I'll leave that a mystery for now.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Quite a bit of fun this morning. So
Yeah.
Very excited. Yeah, I caught the tail end of it, and it looked like they were actually having quite a good time. So I'm excited to see it.
Paul, how about you? What have you been playing this week?
I had a friend in for the holidays, so we played some 2-player Cuphead. We've been actually doing really good at it. He's never played it. Yeah, it's so much fun playing with a second person. I've only played through the game by myself.
What was your favorite boss to play with a second person?
So we've done all of the first map, all of the second map. We just got to the dragon, and we played it like once.
One was really fun with 2 players and frustrating as well.
Yeah, I think the funnest one is the airplane genie.
Okay.
I just love that level. Like, I love the look of it. I love how the genie looks, and like
it's a lot of transformations in that stage too.
And it changes from like the first part we see him, you dodge and stuff like normal, and then you go through like a plane game. Where you're going through the pillars and stuff like that. Like I like how that one changes.
I like the my favorite plane level was the robot one.
That one's also really good. Yeah. I'd say that's really high up there with
'Cause,
one of my
like,
favorite stages.
You get every time you blow up part of them, it gets a little harder out of that part. So you got to kind of time when you're blowing them up and try and get them all together. And then it's just like a bullet hell after that. There's like just tons of stuff on screen to dodge.
Yeah, I really like that one. We had it's funny, in single player I had a lot of trouble with the clown.
Oh, the
roller
roller
coaster,
coaster and like the circus thing at the end of the carousel. Yeah,
I had a hard time with him in single player, and we had a hard time with him playing together. PUBG, obviously. PUBG released officially on the PC on Wednesday.
1.0.
1.0. Exciting. I was dreading it because I thought we were going to have so many problems on launch. Lots of lag. In the test server for it. Like, the test server ran up till the time of launch. So, like, we were constantly being dropped out of games. There was so much lag. It didn't run smoothly. Like, you couldn't pick stuff up because it would be so lagged out. It runs almost flawlessly on release, and I'm blown away because I thought the servers were going to be so swamped. You can tell there's lots of new players already in it, which is really cool because people waited for release, even though it was a big game, to buy it. So I want to see what its numbers are going to jump to. Very exciting, I think. Picked up Rainbow Six. I had Rainbow Six Siege for a long time. Haven't played it for a few months. Me and one of my normal go-to competitive gamer friends jumped back into it this week. So that was fun. And other than that, I think that's it for games. I picked up, what's that board game? Castillo or something like that?
Board game.
You put down the blocks, you try to build castles or roads, and everybody puts...
Settlers of Catan?
No. It's called Castello?
Carcassonne?
Nailed it, Kelsey. He's on fire today. Like NBA Jam, he's on fire.
From downtown.
From downtown.
Boom shakalaka.
Boom shakalaka. That's I moonlight as
that
the
game is
NBA Jam announcer.
Carcassonne is. I used to enjoy playing that game until some cousins of ours. They bought like every single expansion for it, and there's a lot of expansions. Like, I think there's 13, 14 expansions for it. And they put them all into the tile bag. And so we had like a 3-hour game of Carcassonne.
That would ruin it for me too.
And it's not great. Some of the expansions are fun. Some of them have cool ideas. They don't mesh well together. Like, I think you just want to play 1 or 2 at a time. And then we played that like 3 or 4 times since then. There's these huge, long, messy games of it. So I just need a like 2-year-long break from that game.
So I picked up the board game from Gamequest. If you guys didn't know, Gamequest sells board games. They have a good selection, and they're pretty good about bringing stuff in if you ask them.
Special orders, yeah.
So it had some expansions in it, and the people that I have played with have never played the expansion, so we left them out. We'll play it at a later date. We just played the game proper, and it was a lot of fun. Like, I played it a bit in Vancouver last time I was there. Really enjoy it. Super fun.
The easy one to pick up. I think the only thing most people don't pick up on the first time is how the scoring works for the farming. Which after you play your first game, then it makes a lot more sense. But everything else is super basic, super easy to get into. It's
a lot of fun. It's even fun for people who aren't big strategists. Because that game does involve some strategy. But if you play with 4 people, 2 people are strategists and 2 people are kind of playing, it will balance itself out.
I found that's a good like gateway board game to get people into that aren't maybe not sinking lots of time into board games. They're used to playing like Monopoly and Life and stuff like that. It's a good one to move them to more complex games.
Exactly. It's a good stepping stone to like Catan.
And Catan, I'd say, is in the same level. Like, those two are really good to move people into like more complex games.
I was actually going to ask, what's the main difference between this one that you guys are talking about and Catan?
Catan is much deeper.
There's
more going on in Catan. This game is...
And this one, you build the board as you go. So you're expanding and kind of choosing how you want to expand as you see what tiles come out of the bag.
My group...
so it's kind of similar to The Haunting on Nightmare Hill. Because as you build the board very similar to that.
I can't introduce new people to Catan in my group of friends because they're like ruthless Catan players. Like,
we get into that.
We play teams when we play that game, so it's like teams of 2 or teams of 3, and there's like 6 teams, so it's a debate. Every time it's a team's turn, they debate. They're arguing across the table. They're setting up future considerations. Like, I've got a list of future considerations for future games we played.
Wow.
Yeah.
When I was dating my wife, we were playing that a lot with her cousin who she lived with at the time. And after like a month of dating, her cousin said, I can't play with you guys anymore. It's no fun. You guys are making it too competitive.
Yeah, my girlfriend, around the holidays like this, we always get together to have our Catan games.
Yeah.
So she's now like, oh, we're going to go hang out with everybody? It's like, yeah. Are you playing Catan? So, but she'll usually play. She'll sit on a team and play and have fun, but it gets pretty...
Get a little too much.
Yeah, like...
You see that.
But it's fun. Other than that, that's it. It's been a very busy week because like people are coming in, holidays.
Yeah, I got people coming in today.
Yeah. But Dustin, how about yourself? What have you been into?
I decided to go back and play some Breath of the Wild because I had forgotten because the new DLC came out for it and I hadn't finished the previous one for the Master Sword yet. So I went in to go play that, and I'll put the video up on the podcast. It obviously had been a while since I played the game. Because I picked up the controller and it was like, okay, what's attack? What's jump? Like I forgot about jumping and sailing and stuff. So
like
there's
2-3 months. Like how long are we talking?
A few months.
Yeah.
When did that game come out?
Came out in March when the Switch came out.
Okay.
Yeah.
The last time I played it was when the last expansion came out, the last DLC, the Master Sword one. So that was September-ish.
Right? Yeah.
So it's been since then. You'll see in the footage here. There were moments where, as part of the new DLC, you're given this quest where you have to go to 4 special shrines, but while you're holding this weapon, you can only get hit once and then you die. And like you can't heal yourself back up to full because it just redrains you back to 1. And
hard mode.
I was in this temple where it had a bunch of spike pits that were moving up and down, and you had to like grab metal platforms and make yourself a path in order to get started on it. Okay. I felt like I was playing Grand Theft Auto when you're trying to figure out the jump mechanic, which is you go to run and you jump. If you accidentally hit jump again, your character just like immediately just like flops over and lands something. That's what I was happening with Link. I would just go to run, go to try to jump something, and go, nope, I'm gonna flop right into the spike pit.
The spikes.
So I was not happy about that, but I did eventually get a little better. I was going through part of the Mifa side quest, so getting started on that stuff. And then there's one part I was doing this week when I was going back to try to finish off the 3rd part of the Master Sword quest. And I did this dumb move where I was fighting this boss and I threw a bomb and I think it bounced back at me and I had forgotten what the depth of field was for the explosion. So I ended up killing myself and I was like, oh,
that's
no.
Nice. Classic.
Yeah, that's...
Have you put any more time into Xenoblade Chronicles 2 since last time?
Not as much as last time. So
I feel last time we were talking about, you said you might take a break on the games you're currently playing and go back and play some other stuff.
Sounded like you weren't having as much fun with Xenoblade and Pokemon.
I felt, well, I was going to take a break and go back to like Persona. Because I felt like I needed to get Persona done before I go to another RPG.
Yeah.
Zelda for me is not...
It's a different style.
It's a different style of
really,
RPG. Yeah. It's more adventure, so that's why I don't mind playing it in between. But
and it's not like you're not putting the work in. It's not like work. Yeah. Where some other RPGs feel like you're...
Yeah, I would rather put in the work and finish off Persona before I do more Xenoblade stuff.
How far into your Persona are you?
No. I'm trying to think. It's the section of the game that the developer doesn't want anybody to stream anymore past this point.
Well, that's pretty early. It's after like Kamoshida, right? They didn't want anyone to...
No, this one is... It's the reveal of a traitor.
Oh, okay. That is pretty deep into the game then, yeah.
Yeah, I'm up to that point. So, that's right. The casino level.
Yeah. That's right. Okay, yeah, you're pretty far in there. You don't have as far to go as I thought you did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I still got a little more farther to go. Yeah. But
there's some good stuff.
I want to get it done, and I kind of want to get the perfect ending. So,
do you have next week off from work?
Sorry?
Do you have next week off from work?
I do. I do have next week off.
We all have some
extra free time coming up.
Potential to slay some games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Last chance for 2017 to
last chance
get one out.
Mm-hmm.
Last chance,
which is actually going to be our topic for this week. Is we're going to go into our best gaming moments of 2017. But before we do that, we should probably dive
Tiny
into
bit of
our
news trickled out this week.
a little bit of news. There
It's
wasn't
news
there wasn't
time.
as
It's news
much
time.
news.
It's always slow this kind of year.
Were you doing the video arcade talk
I
thing?
was doing the video.
It's
arcade
letter
talk
time. It's letter
It's
time.
news time. It's news time. Paul Pickle.
Nicholas Pickles. Yeah.
Yeah, there wasn't much news.
Also a Rugrat.
That's true. Yeah, Paul Pickle.
The still pickle.
No, wasn't the grandfather's name Paul?
No.
Grandpa Pickle?
I don't remember him having a first name.
I thought he did.
He might have. I'm not that deep into
Rugrats lore.
but
Shame on you.
we did watch the Rugrats movie in this house in the last 2 weeks. It was on
wow.
Netflix at some point.
We should do a Rugrats season sit-through with Kelsey and bring him up to date.
Mystery Science Theater.
Mystery
style.
Science Rugrats.
Yeah,
Mystery
no,
Science Pickle, which
I
sounds
don't want
dirtier
to.
than
I don't
it
want to
should.
watch Angelica being a whiny little child. Anyway, let's turn ourselves back around. So yeah, there wasn't much news this week in terms of big stories. The first one being the final DLC for ARMS got released this week, version 5, as well as a confirmation that ARMS and Breath of the Wild will no longer be getting any more DLC. So they are complete. They are done.
Really? That was quick for Breath of the Wild. Especially being such a big game.
They
About 9
confirmed
months,
that they're now working on the next Zelda.
Yep.
So there is kind of a reason why.
Also another quick turnaround
Yeah.
on a game. Because usually between Zeldas we had, with the exception of Majora's Mask and Ocarina, I feel that was pretty quick.
Well, that was the only time they reused assets
Yeah.
from a previous game to make another one, and I think they had a different team working on that one too.
Mm-hmm.
And since Breath of the Wild was so crazy good, I could see them reusing a lot of the assets and kind of going that style again, but a new adventure kind of thing.
Because I don't want to have Zelda of Duty.
Zelda.
I
dude.
I don't
want-
think you'll ever have it. Have you ever had that? Like, they've never done even...
No,
Like,
but
that was the quickest turnaround, and that was still, like, what, 2 or 3 years? Like,
yeah, but you could have it easily. Like if they start reusing assets and stuff like that more.
that's not typically a Nintendo thing, though, to pump something out
You
that
never
much.
know. You never know. With how the gaming industry is going,
Loot boxes.
Yeah.
Zelda loot boxes.
Zelda, it's
Loot chests.
we've griped about this and complained about this a lot on this show.
Well, in Breath of the Wild, they kind of had their own loot boxes already, but it was buying amiibos. But you could reuse them because you only had to wait 24 hours, and then you could reuse them again
they
and again
refresh.
And you have a tangible thing that if you don't need it anymore, you can sell it, trade it,
Mhm.
give it to someone.
and again.
Looks cool
No,
himself.
it's a loot box. You actually have a physical thing. Because when I played Breath of the Wild, you would not believe how many times I used my amiibos to stock up on arrows and bomb
Oh,
arrows.
that's cool. Yeah,
Because
that's
I know it's like I'm about to head into a dungeon. I need to stock up on stuff.
I don't even know how amiibos work. I have a rough idea, but we won't get into
You
that today.
buy your cereal box, you tap it onto your Switch,
Cereal.
in-game cereal.
Nice. Oh, man.
In-game cereal.
I tried to buy that cereal, the Amiibo cereal.
Yeah.
It's not in Canada.
Oh,
Yeah, the guys at the grocery store like went and looked it up for me and everything. Like, it's not even in our system.
looks like you're gonna have to.
Import cereal.
Apparently, it's not that good. Apparently, it's just a knockoff of Lucky Charms.
That's what it sounded like.
Yeah, I can see that. Really, lots of big hype cereal. Is
I'm-
never really that good.
More
Well,
in
the
it for
question
the
is,
Amiibo than tasty cereal.
what does it unlock for you?
I can't remember. I read it. at
It was
one
something
point.
like
It was-
really
it was
basic.
really
Like
small.
it wasn't even like an amiibo costume or anything like that. It was just like, oh, here's some coins. Oh, yay!
Something like that. Yeah.
So, have you played any of ARMS?
Yes. The first month it was out, I played it a couple times at friends' houses, and it's really fun and unique to play multiplayer. There is nothing in there to dig into for single player though.
Mm-hmm. That's how I felt with ARMS that came out when they had ARMS on its way, and I was like, you know what, this is the only game that people are going to play until Splatoon 2 comes out,
Yeah.
and then everybody's just going to leave ARMS.
Yeah.
But there are a number of people who do like ARMS, and
It's not
it is
bad.
a very unique game. Like, it's very reminiscent of like Wii Sports boxing.
Yeah, it's almost like they mixed
okay.
up that with like some Punch-Out flavor in it too.
Mm-hmm. But for me, it's just that's one Nintendo game that came out this year that I did not get.
I didn't buy it either. I did enjoy playing it for the couple hours they did with friends, and I could do that again every once in a while. But yeah, there's not a lot of meat in the game.
Not something you want to have for yourself.
Yeah, I might pick it up at one point when it's like $20 or less, and then when that particular friend comes over that I want to play some goofy fighting games with.
Yeah, because
Wink.
every time
Wink.
shudder. Every time we go to the movies, they always have like the little
There's
advertisements
lots of
between.
Nintendo ads there now, yeah.
And one of them showcases ARMS and Splatoon.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never played ARMS, and that's the only time I've ever really seen it is on that. And I'm like, oh, that game looks odd, but fun.
Yeah.
It is.
Like Splatoon,
It's
same thing,
essentially
like, looks odd, but
every
fun.
character has like super springy, stretchy arms, except for one character because it's just her hair.
Oh, okay.
She's gorgeous, but everybody else has all these super stretchy arms, and it's just like, okay, what happened in this world that caused everybody to have like deformed
There's the one guy
arms?
that's just like
Who's
too.
best girl?
I can't remember her name.
Rin's
Twinella?
best girl.
That is Rin is best girl. That's a nice little inside joke that no one's gonna know about.
Also, the springy arm things reminds me of characters that we played in our newest title bout. A Gundam title bout, and it's probably my favorite title bout we've had.
Oh, you're talking about was it the Shenlong Gundam? The
Yeah, it's
Dragon
like
one.
Yeah. If you haven't checked out any of our title bouts, or you've seen a few and you're kind of on the fence, check out this newest one. I thought it was a lot of fun.
Find our characters personified in anime Gundam pilots.
Yeah, close enough. I had a lot of fun doing it. I had a lot of fun rewatching it. I usually don't watch the entirety of our title bouts again. Like, I'll just see some of Dustin's editing and stuff like that, which he always does a really good job. This one's
Dustin
really
picked
fun.
this game for us. Neither of us were super familiar with it. So
I
it
had zero familiarity with
I
it.
played it
Well,
once. Like, a
like
year
we
ago.
said, it was nice to make the rule every fifth game
Yeah.
was a random game
Yeah.
that you guys don't get to decide.
So if you haven't checked it out, check it out. Leave a like or a comment. We are taking...
We are taking
Requests.
suggestions on the random games,
Yeah.
as well as
I've had people mention
For you guys,
Soul
too.
Calibur and PlayStation Battle Royale.
All-Stars.
Yeah.
PlayStation All Stars. Yeah, let's see. Why don't we move on to another PlayStation property that's being
I'm super
remade
excited.
that I'm kind
Yeah.
of excited for. A new Catherine game, at least, or not new, a new remake. Of it.
Remake with new content added to it.
And a third Catherine.
Yeah.
named
that's
Rin.
huge content. Yeah.
So, but there's
Some controversy.
controversy behind
Yeah.
it, and I looked into it, and to me, it doesn't affect me a whole lot.
I don't know if it's even confirmed yet. I think it's just people jumping to conclusions because they're basically the controversy is they think that the new Catherine might be a transgendered person, and Vincent is reacting really poorly to them, which is pretty typical in a lot of Japanese games. They don't do well with transgendered and gay and lesbian.
Yeah.
So if they do have a transgendered person in here that's such a prominent character, they probably won't treat them very well, which is a concern. But she's not confirmed as transgendered, and the scene that they're showing has her like full naked. Vincent's face is covering
she's
her
lifted
kind of
up her
crotch area.
shirt,
Yeah.
like up to a point, but so like her waist is
Yeah.
exposed, and then it cuts to Vincent going, "Oh."
Yeah, just freaking out. But he freaks out all the time in the game over other related stuff.
He freaks
too.
out when he turns over and sees the other Catherine for the
Yeah,
first
like-
time.
Yeah.
Like the exact same expression, so I don't see what the problem
No,
is.
I don't think.
Yeah, I think it's a
people are
good
jumping to conclusions.
good step in gaming. Like, we need to include everybody.
Mhm.
So,
I don't
I
think
don't-
they are doing that. I think people are jumping to conclusions. I don't think she's going to be a transgendered character. I think people are just assuming she is
This is what's
without
gonna
confirmation yet. Yeah.
But it does look really cool that they're adding new stuff to the Catherine
Yeah.
game.
Not just
I've-
the story stuff, but new gameplays too.
Yeah, because it's funny though, because I've looked it up a couple times that there are competitive tournaments of
Totally.
Catherine. They are
Last,
nail binding to the
I think it was last
Edge.
Evo. It was like a side game. If you were knocked out or you were just there to like spectate, you could play some like competitive Catherine there.
yeah,
they often do that, actually.
Yeah.
With some sides.
and it's really cool because you're playing on the same screen with them. So like you can intentionally screw over your opponent by like pulling a block out at the wrong time and they fall down, or
Oh, cool.
so it's, which is weird because I didn't remember there being much of a multiplayer part of that game when I first played it.
Yeah, I played a lot of it with my brother actually because we did some of the co-op stuff where you had to like climb the tower together, so you had to like help each other up. It was brutal, super tough.
Because
But-
I only ever played through the story mode.
Yeah, no, I tried to get all the achievements on it. That's one game where I only got like 95% of the achievements because those endless levels. You had to get to certain points in them, and I just couldn't get the last two. Brutal.
Yeah. I don't like endless challenges.
No, but that would be fun one to visit. All three of us, kind of like we did with Needog.
Yeah,
when
with
it comes
our-
out next year. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
with our
it'll
episodes
be
of
the first time
Arcade.
I've played it as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So look forward to a new gaming series that we have called Arcade, where we just play a game just for fun.
Yeah.
We got some games
Short
that
little competitive things.
this game I've never played. I'm really looking forward to it. And
It's a lot of fun.
yeah, and we have another game that Kelsey has coming in that I am extremely excited
Should
to
be
play.
here probably first week of January,
Even though Kelsey will probably trounce us badly,
like I do at most games.
like you don't do. Stay tuned for title bouts.
It's gonna get saltier and saltier. But yeah, I'm really excited for another Catherine game.
Yeah,
'Cause-
me too.
Because it's done by Atlas, who did Persona 5.
And at the
Oh,
time,
It's the same. I think it's the same art director and stuff too.
when Catherine came out
Cool.
too, that was the best-selling Atlas game of all time when that came out. I'm sure Persona 5 has eclipsed that since then, and probably a couple others. But yeah, it was a huge deal for them. I remember them posting on their like Facebook. They had this big cake to congratulate all the development staff and stuff, and like they're making a big party out of it because it was such a big deal.
Yeah, just a shame though that we're not going to see it until maybe next year, like next Christmas.
Yeah, next winter I think they've got it slated for.
But I'm curious as to what the special editions will be.
Yeah, and the last ones were amazing, so good. I had to get one for each system because they were different packages.
Yeah,
It
because
was
wasn't
so
it
cool.
the regular girlfriend Catherine was PS3, and then
Yeah.
the new Catherine was on the 360
That's
ones?
right. Yeah. So maybe they'll do like a different one for PlayStation, Switch, Xbox. I don't know if it's going to be on the Switch. I can't remember if they announced it for that or not. But
I don't know. Do you think that you could put it on the Switch?
yeah, heck yeah. It's a PS3 game that they're updating. Let's see what
I guess that's true.
They've done that with LA.
It would be interesting to see it
Skyrim.
come out on the
Yeah.
Switch.
Yeah, lots of
Because maybe
games
they could do that. Maybe they could continue doing the 3-box thing where
Sure. And then you
here's the
got
version for
3
Xbox,
girls,
here's the
yeah.
version
Yeah.
for PlayStation, here's one for Switch
That's a
or
good
PC,
idea.
whichever
Yeah.
one they decide to
Sure.
go with. Okay, that's cool.
Real quick news injection for fighting games. They did some data mining, and Killer Croc might be coming to Injustice 2.
That's an awesome character
Yeah,
for that game.
that sounds pretty cool.
Like,
So-
we were talking about this briefly before, but that game has such an amazing cast right now. So good.
And they
And-
usually release them in like 4s, so
Yeah.
we'll see who else comes out with Killer Croc.
How do you like Injustice 2 compared to the previous one?
I haven't actually played it.
Oh,
Why not?
I just haven't picked it up. I got so much other. Like, I got PUBG in my life. I don't need any other games. I'm planning with a Steam sale. I'm going to see if it's on sale, and I'll pick it up for myself for Christmas to get some playing into it. Because the roster, like Kelsey said, looks so good.
Ninja
Well,
Turtles, Hellboy,
yeah,
Gorilla Grodd, Dr.
Yeah.
Fate,
Swamp Thing, Lobo.
Swamp Thing, yeah, so good.
Yeah,
And then all the classic characters that everyone buys the game for initially.
Yep.
Yeah.
Again, as we were talking before we started the podcast, for me, the one thing I liked about the first Injustice is that they had the inclusion of Stephen Amell's Arrow from the Arrow series.
Yeah.
Like, they actually had him come in, voice his character. It was a Green Lantern skin, so he still played as Green Arrow, not Green Lantern, sorry. You still played as Green Arrow, but they replaced all the dialogue and everything with Stephen Amell voicing everything. But I haven't seen that with Injustice 2 yet.
Yeah,
Because they have Legends of Tomorrow, they have Arrow, they have Flash.
Mm-hmm.
Where's my TV version of Barry Allen in Injustice 2?
yeah, it's
Maybe it just cost more than it was worth in the last time around. But
Maybe.
it was really,
Yeah, 'cause it's
really
really taken
cool
off.
Easter eggs to put that kind of stuff in.
But I like it when games are willing to blend their media with stuff. Like, let me have the Stephen Amell costume. Let me, those kind of things. Like, look at Star Wars with the Battlefront stuff.
Yep.
Like, their first DLC was DLC stuff from the new movie.
that
That
tied in
makes
directly
perfect
to
sense.
it. Yeah, they did a good job with that at least.
That game
Which
makes no sense, Battlefront 2, canon-wise, though. Like, it's just a match. Like, you have battle droids fighting with Darth Vader, with Kylo Ren, like...
that Battlefront is. We're getting off topic a bit here.
Well, to bring it back to Injustice, keep it on topic, I'm not sure particularly about the second one. The first one, it was actually its own contained story. Like, all these characters should have interacted. So having the outside media in there was kind of jarring to me. Playing story mode
But
anyway.
because it's DC, they can always say it's an alternate universe. because they do
They
cross.
try and clean
because
that
that
once
was
in a while.
that was the premise of the first one was they had
Yeah.
the separate universe of the essentially the Justice Lords.
That was how you could have the same character meet himself in a fighting match, because they were, cross-dimensional.
We're getting into really deep water talking about the DC expanded.
You don't want to do a Crisis on Infinite Earths teardown right now?
Not really. New 52, maybe. Battlefront, to me, is like a game where you have all your toys.
Yeah.
And you just put them all together and play them.
Yeah, that's how I look at it too.
Yeah,
I look at it differently than I looked at Injustice.
Yeah, I want to be able to play as Darth Vader in all scenarios and all... You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. It's like Smash Brothers style. Like, you've literally got toys just banging into each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's like playing the X-Wing miniatures game.
Yeah.
The X-Wing miniatures game, you have First Order TIE fighters and stuff, but you can still use them with Empire stuff because like you have Darth Vader, you have Emperor Palpatine as characters that can play with Kylo Ren.
Pilot ships they would never be able to pilot otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
And the Star Wars universe like lends really well to that because nothing's super out of place. You know what I mean? Like Darth Vader could easily have taken place in the Sega episodes 1, 2, 3 or in the new ones. Like he fits. All the characters can be interchanged pretty well, essentially. Before we get into our final bit as well, since it is the holiday season, I'd like to do favorite Christmas movie real quick.
Real quick?
Real quick.
Very easy answer for me. Die Hard.
Die Hard, yeah, that's a good one.
Die Hard with exception to, because if people say, oh, Die Hard's not really a Christmas movie.
It definitely is a Christmas movie.
Okay, then favorite Christmas movie then... it's hard to say exactly which one. I'm probably going to say The Grinch.
Grinch is
I
really
like the original Grinch and the like Jim Carrey one. I love them both equally the same.
not a big fan of the Jim Carrey one at all. I like the original animated one.
I like Jingle All the Way.
That is
Oh,
also ranks very high.
that's
on
the
my list.
Arnold one.
Yeah, anything with Arnold.
Turbo Man.
Turbo Man.
I'm looking for Turbo Man.
And Sinbad.
Put the cookie down.
Ta ta, Turtle Man.
That's a great line in that movie.
Was that Sinbad? Was
Sinbad.
Yeah,
was the
not
Sinbad was
the
the
sailor.
bad guy.
Yeah, exactly.
They were friends in the end.
He went to jail. I'd say Bloodsport with Jean-Claude Van Damme is my favorite Christmas
That's a
movie.
fun one.
I watch it every Christmas day without fail.
I'm assuming this is an action movie that takes place on Christmas.
No, not at all. It takes place very far away from Christmas, and it's essentially like a live-action Street Fighter. It's like a tournament. It's a really awesome movie. If you haven't seen it, Paul recommends Bloodsport.
There's a lot of good memes from
wasn't
that.
Van wasn't Van Damme also in the Street Fighter movie?
He was in the Street Fighter movie. Yeah, he played Gao.
Yeah,
and that movie's not as good as Bloodsport.
It's good for different reasons.
Good for different. Yeah, good for different reasons. My proper Christmas movie, probably like Ernest Saves Christmas.
Oh, that I watched a bazillion times as a kid.
Yeah.
They like taped it off of the like television running it, so I had the commercials in it on our
Don't
tape.
let the federal government know about that.
So
no one watches VCRs
I had
anymore.
to fast forward it past commercials, but I watched that show like a million times as a kid.
Or maybe Lethal Weapon. But Die Hard's really high up there too. Die Hard and Lethal Weapon are...
I love Die Hard, especially when it's like, now I have a machine gun. Ho, ho, ho.
My friend bought that sweater. You can buy it off of Amazon.
That's an actual sweater?
It's an actual sweater. And it says that. So good. Yeah. Die Hard, Lethal Weapon, Ernest, Jingle All the Way, Bloodsport. Those are pretty... National Lampoon's obviously Christmas. Staples.
That's... See, my family and I, because we've watched a lot of Christmas movies.
Yeah.
So, like, we always have, like, a top, like, 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Which are National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Yeah.
Because we love... My stepfather especially loves Eddie.
Oh,
Come
he's
over
so
when he's
funny.
like when he's dumping his waste in
Everybody has
dumping his waste in the sewer.
that person in their
Shitter's full.
family.
Shitter was full.
Everybody has that person in their
drinking a beer.
family. It's so relatable
Yeah.
to like that's Uncle.
So
so and
there's
so.
that. We
I
like
fear that I'm that in my
we
family.
like Will Ferrell and Elf.
That one I was gonna mention.
Ooh.
I never, whenever we want to watch a family movie that's a Christmas movie, Elf comes up, and I never want to start it, but it gets started anyway. And I find myself laughing my ass off every time, like partway through that movie. It's so funny and so charming, but I never like sit down and go, I'm gonna start it off.
I hate that.
All right, everybody, it's 7 o'clock. Santa's Santa.
It's so good.
I hate that movie.
I love that movie.
Um,
Even though I never want to watch it, I love it when it's on.
But we also watch The Grinch. I've got my family to watch Die Hard. I know they roll their eyes when they do it. But then we also do Home Alone.
Home Alone's
The
a good
first
series,
one, only because my stepfather loves the scene where the guy sneaking in the basement and he steps on a nail. He's done that to himself in life too many times in life, so he knows exactly what the pain is like, but he laughs his ass off every time he sees it.
Harry, I'm in.
I don't know if my kids have watched that movie yet. I might have to do that one this year.
Boy,
Who's the other guy? Joe
Lloyd and Harry.
No,
Joe Pesci.
Joe
is Harry.
Pesci sitting there with the flamethrower. Ah!
Yeah. So I love the tall, skinny guy. Whatever he's like, Harry, we're the wet bandits. You're sick. You're sick. You know that. And the second one, he's has tape on his hands. He sticks it in the thing. He's like, we're the sticky bandits. Harry, I'm in. Okay, moving
All right,
on.
we gotta move on.
So that was our Christmas segue for the episode.
All right, so let's talk about our discussion for this is our gaming moments of 2017. So why don't we start off with obviously the big game releases of this year. Obviously Breath of the Wild was a big one with the Nintendo Switch as well because we finally got it.
Yeah.
It's still selling really well. There's still
Amazing year.
lineups in Japan that are still selling out.
On track to outsell the Wii U's entire lifetime by this March, which would be 1 year for the Switch.
That's crazy.
That's insane.
Yeah, that's very crazy.
I'm trying to think what else was amazing stuff. Persona 5,
Yeah.
Odyssey.
Yeah.
Mario
I was
Odyssey.
gonna say, my two like that came out this year that I loved the most were Persona 5 and Mario Odyssey. So good. Cuphead's up there too.
Yeah, I was gonna say Cuphead is one of my
Cuphead, PUBG apparently.
PUBG.
It is definitely
When did
worth.
they
It is definitely
actually
worth.
start this year. What month did that come out?
It was super early.
Yesterday.
Yeah, it came out yesterday. Like last spring sometime.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, a little bit of last year, maybe this year was like when it was really hyping itself up.
Yeah, totally.
Because I know I
I
finally got it this year. So
I'm pretty sure it came out like with a wide where a lot of people were able to play it. Like before, it was like a couple people could test play it on whatever, but it was this year, right after kind of Christmas or like springish, early spring.
probably some other good honorable mentions too. I don't have it yet. I will eventually track down Nier Automata.
Yeah.
Automata.
Automata.
Yeah. I'm trying to think some other ones that are like really good releases, like maybe that I didn't personally buy, but I know are like up there for being a great release this year.
Injustice 2 came out this year. Tekken 7 came out this year.
This year, like Fighters had a huge resurgence.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
And their good games was when did 5 come out?
Oh,
5 was February, I think, or was that last February?
That was last February. Because at Power Up we had.
That's right.
I was just thinking the announcement for Dragon Ball Z Fighters.
Dragon Ball Z Fighters, very exciting.
And then, which also reminds me of Sonic Mania this year.
Sonic.
Yeah,
For
it
me,
is a
that
pretty
is like
important
my best hidden gem of this year.
Yeah, who did I watched one of you guys. Was it Yuri I watched play? No, Kelsey.
It was Kelsey.
So we were at Dustin's and I was just goofing around on it because I hadn't played it yet.
That looks super fun.
Yeah.
Like I'm.
Well, because you got to the chemical plant boss, and you're like, wait, this isn't a. Oh, it's Mean Bean Machine.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah,
that game is awesome.
Yeah, that
Like
game
the
is
amount
really
of
good.
love that went to that game is perfect.
Yeah.
So it's definitely well worth purchasing.
amazing.
Battlefront 2, the big controversy
Yeah,
of the year.
that's
Maybe
true.
one of the biggest controversies in gaming we've seen.
Quite a while, yeah.
Rising
Since
up
Night
to
Trap.
Yeah.
rising up to the
Nitro.
controversy of loot boxes and whether
Yeah.
they're gambling or not.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure we'll be hearing about a lot of this next year. One of the big ones I played too was a re-release when they did Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on the Switch.
Oh yeah,
I put a lot of time into that again, and it's
I was
fantastic.
like, Nintendo had a really good year this year.
They had like
Because they had the
something
Switch
going
come
on.
out, but they had like almost every 2 months a decent game.
every 1 month they had something because they had I think ARMS might be the weakest one, but they had like Breath of the Wild, they had ARMS, they had Splatoon, they had Mario Rabbids, they had Mario Kart 8, they had Mario Odyssey, they had Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Like,
Sonic Mania was also on the Switch.
Yeah, they had just tons of stuff to keep you going. It was impressive first year, because usually you get that big drought while everyone's scrambling to make stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What about... Let's see here.
Did you play a lot of stuff not was released in 2017 that you really enjoyed this year, though?
You know, I was trying to think about that, because I know when we were discussing the topic for this show, you asked me that about games that you played this year,
So
but
a lot
they
of
got
my
released
favorite
previously.
stuff that I played
Resident Evil
this
7.
year didn't come out this year.
I'm trying to think if there was anything that I did play.
Corn Exiles.
I don't know. That's the thing. It's most of my gameplay stuff.
Current.
If it's a game that I love like constantly, I'll play it all the time.
Sure.
But for me, like within the year, it's usually newer stuff because I love playing the newer stuff. Granted, I do like going back to the old stuff. Like if you hand me Mario 64, I will enjoy playing that game every single time I pick it up.
Yeah.
But
For me, I've been plugging away at Sonic and All-Stars Sega Racing Transformed or some form of that name that I probably just butchered for quite a while, and I've never been able to finish all the challenges they have in the single player thing, and I finally did that this year. It was a really big deal for me because I've been playing away on that for like 5 years now, just slowly when I have the chance, and I'm getting stuck on a couple missions, but I finally did everything in that game. I'm quite proud of that because it's been a long dredge, but we went on a family trip and I just played a lot on the Vita and finished that. Another big one was Dark Souls. I started like 2 years ago, and then we moved houses and I kind of stopped playing when we moved, and I finally settled back in this summer and finished it because I got stuck on Ornstein and Smaug for a long time, which a lot of people get stuck on, and then after that I got stuck immediately again in the Duke's archives. And I finally was able to figure my way through that and make some progress and finish it off, and it was pretty satisfying.
did you see the trailer for Code Vein?
Yeah, that looks quite
Bandai
interesting.
Namco. Essentially, it's Dark Souls,
Dark
but
Souls
with a very anime flavor.
Yeah, it does look very interesting. Yeah,
So I think that comes out next year sometime.
Yeah. I loved those. It was nice to cross them off the list. Another cool one that almost made this year was Last Guardian. It was like December last year, I think.
Very end.
What made that one cool was I was playing that one upstairs, which I normally don't do. So my family was watching a lot of that one, and even if no one was like sitting down to just like enjoy the game and watch, they'd be like tinkering around in the kitchen or playing with something nearby. You could feel the whole room like tense up during certain moments when there'd be like a huge pit to jump over, or you weren't sure if Trico was going to catch you when you were falling. And I look over and everyone was staring at the TV, like quite enthralled to it and getting pretty invested, to the point where at the end of the game, when bad things were happening to Trico, to leave it kind of spoiler free, you could see everyone just getting really involved and emotional. It was a neat experience.
I think so. That's like a good like gaming moment for you for this year.
Absolutely, one of my favorites.
And then probably I think for you too, you and your son playing in Mario Odyssey.
Yeah, that was
Because
unreal.
it came out.
Yeah.
It came out, and you guys were like, "Oh, hey, we already got 600 moons," and I'm like, "I'm playing by myself." Like, I only have 300 so far.
And we wouldn't play without each other around, so it was like you had to make those moments, make some time every couple of days to sit down and plug out a few moons.
You guys also had some good Zelda moments too, where you were playing Zelda Link to the Past and he was playing Breath of the
When
Wild.
the Switch came out, I booked a day off work, and we made him skip school. So we stood in line, got our Switch, ran home, and just played Zelda for like the whole day. It was really awesome. And then probably 4 or 5 months later, he's like, "Dad, can we do that again? I really want to have a Zelda day." And so we've got 2 TVs in the game room. So he sat down and played Breath of the Wild on one, and I sat down and played Link to the Past on another TV.
Nice.
And I actually finished it in one sitting, one session, which I've never done any Zelda game like that in my life. That was really cool. Just being able to hang out with my boy and play and talk Zelda all day.
Yeah, that's exciting.
It's really
I have
fun.
to say, probably for me, like best gaming moments this year, I definitely think the Switch and playing Breath of the Wild, because forgive the pun, it was a breath of fresh air. Playing Breath, like it was so cool just like to pick it up and just have like ambient noise, just a little bit of nice music in the background and stuff, and like the exploration of the stuff. Because when I talked to like you and a couple other players who played it, like everybody had a different story depending on how they branched out. Like for me, it was, oh, I went this way and did the water temple area first, and some people went to the desert first and stuff.
That was,
the
last area I did was the water one, and most people I talked to, that's like the first place they went, and I'm like, what directed them there? I must have went like totally off course.
I went that way, but then it was funny how, you know, like the abilities that you get for completing each dungeon, certain abilities help you in certain other areas. Like for me, the very last one was the camel, like the electric one. Yeah, that's the first one. So when you get that electric attack where it's like, oh hey, you can almost kill anything immediately. I wish I had known about that well early in the game.
It was the first one we did. Yeah, it seems pretty overpowered for that early.
It was an awesome game. I have to think to. I think you and a friend of mine convincing me to pick up and play Persona 5 because I've really enjoyed it.
I'm so glad you did. I kind of thought you
would. Really cool. Like I was adamant not picking it up. I'm like, it's just another RPG, whatever. But I really love the art style behind it. Like it all looks great.
If Cuphead didn't come out this year, I am confident that would have won Best Art Direction at the Game Awards.
I did see a couple people who were dressed up in cosplay at an anime con I went to in August, and I'm like, yes, that's definitely
Joker and on, or someone a little deeper.
There was a Joker, and there was one other person, but I can't remember who it was.
That's sweet.
So, what about you, Paul?
Yeah, what's your favorite gaming moments this last year?
Oh, and playing Sonic Mania too.
Oh yeah.
Just turning that on and like playing old school Sonic, but like listening to the new
it's like
music.
A Sonic like fan fever dream, like
exactly
all this mashup of this. Like we were playing, I was asking him questions. I'm like, I know Sonic pretty well. I don't remember what this is from. He's like, oh, that's from Knuckles Chaotix. I was like, whoa, it's like 32X.
Yeah, because you got the blue rings. Like, what do the blue rings do? Oh, well, you do that, and that's from Knuckles Chaotix. And you're like, whoa,
that's a deep cut. Like that's crazy.
Mine were probably Cuphead coming out, PUBG, getting my first chicken dinner. Playing with, I met a friend on Steam who I met him through PUBG, and we play games all the time together now, like, which is cool, like always meeting people in gaming communities and stuff like that. Like, it's a lot of fun. Rekindle an old friendship between me and another friend, which we like kind of through PUBG, who like we kind of lost touch over like 4 years and never really talked to each other, and we both saw we were playing PUBG and like, hey, and now we talk multiple times a week for long periods of time.
Nice.
Which is really cool.
That is really awesome.
Yeah, and even talking about like going to see each other again, and you know, so
nothing says reuniting friendship like going around and killing people.
Nothing says reuniting friendship like yelling at people through your Discord because they're doing something dumb in PUBG and getting your squad killed. Like that just really brings people together. Playing Alundra for the first time.
That's a cool game. With
one of my closest friends who's played it, and it's been 10 years plus since he played it. He came to town. We sat down. We got through about half of it. He's going to be back in town in 2018, and hopefully we're going to finish it, which is very exciting because that game is so good.
Yeah.
That it's went unnoticed by me for so long, and then to actually get it and play it, it's like, wow, this game is so good. Looks good. Yeah. The story's really genuine.
Working Designs game, right?
Yeah. It's really good. Seeing fighting games, like there's a banner year for fighting games. I really want to. There's a Tekken 7 I really want to pick up. So I really like Tekken. Injustice we talked about it. I want to get that one.
Yeah.
And just like Northern Fan Con was a lot of fun. We have
I forgot to mention that as gaming moment was
Pokemon Snap.
Yeah, that was
our
so
gaming
fun.
gauntlet. Like just you and I sitting down, like planning like a month ahead of time. Okay, here's the games we're gonna play, and like even like it was like to the day we were still like switching stuff at the last minute.
Yeah.
But yeah, having that moment of everyone just going crazy over having Pokemon Snap, Puyo Puyo Tetris.
Yeah.
And then Ikaruga as our final 3 games for our top 2 competitors.
Yeah.
And it was just a lot of fun. Like, we had a cool setup this year, and just something I look forward to every year. It's like if you don't know what Northern Fan Con is, it's like kind of like a Comic-Con convention that we have in our city.
Lots of vendors coming from out of town.
Big year this year.
We had Charles Martinet.
Yeah.
I now have Mario 64 signed on cartridge and box sitting at home.
Which that's a big...
That is a big moment for me.
Yeah.
Erin Fitzgerald was here too, and we were talking about Catherine earlier, and so she signed my special edition Catherine as well.
Sweet.
Right,
Yeah,
because she
that's
was
cool.
our...
She's the waitress in Catherine.
Yeah, because she was the last minute entry Who does she voice in Overwatch?
I don't know her Overwatch character, but I know
Okay.
she is in Overwatch, and she
'Cause-
was like, "Why didn't you do an Overwatch?"
Yeah,
game?"
because
we didn't know,
we
like till like a week
because we
ago.
had the story about the FanCon was I was working behind the booth because doing volunteer stuff, getting stuff set up, and then she approached me and I saw she had a guest pet, and she's like, "Oh hey, well why don't you guys have this stuff set up?" And like it almost like I'm sure she was asking nicely, but it's almost like she was like yelling at me. I'm like, Kelsey,
Help me! And who
she was
played?
amazing.
What was the arcade game we had set up? And she like played it and just like destroyed.
Oh, I can't think of her name.
What was the game? Galaga.
Galaga, she's
yeah.
Elena Galaga, yeah, one of the celebrity guests.
Yeah, and she just like came, and everybody was kind of like, "Is that one of the celebrity guests?" And she had like her kind of like entourage behind her,
Yeah.
and people just like started lining up behind her and watched
She
her kill it.
actually had her like one of her security guys come and ask me specifically if we were able to rig a mod into it so that she could fire faster.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
that's so funny.
Because it feels too slow, but like
it feels
yeah.
too slow.
Yeah, it's always like FanCon's always a really good time. Had a really good time this year. I look forward to next time. Doing this podcast with you guys has been a lot of fun. Like we talk about a lot of really fun stuff.
The Stars
the
episode
amount-
was so much fun for
Yeah.
me.
The amount of time like throughout the year too, like even between like Kelsey and myself talking about let's do this.
Yeah.
We finally have gotten it
Started
started.
doing
Well,
some
yeah,
stuff,
this
yeah.
has been something me and Kelsey have talked about for a long
Yeah.
time in some form of doing, and
Yeah.
to actually finally do
I'm
it
glad
now
you guys were on board to help out with this.
is super fun.
And the FanCon stuff you're mentioning too, this year we should be able to have some footage recorded from it.
Mm-hmm.
So any chance if you can't make it to FanCon, you can still see
Live
some of the hype
vicariously through
moments.
us.
Yeah.
Me and Kelsey went to go see a concert this year, which was a lot of fun. Not really a gaming
Yeah.
moment, but me and Kelsey talked about
Yeah.
gaming for like
So
5 hours in
Long
depth
drive
Yeah,
there and back,
long
yeah.
drive in a day. We did a big trip, watched a big concert, and
Yeah.
drove back.
I don't have a lot of friends that are into metal, so I dragged Paul along. He's not a big metalhead either, but he came to see Slayer, Behemoth, and Lamb of God with
Yeah,
me.
and it was a really
it was
awesome. Like I'm
fun.
not a
Yeah.
metal guy at all. And Kelsey had a huge bag of like quintessential metal to listen to. He's like,
For the
I gotta
ride,
get
yeah.
you into it. I was like, all right.
Didn't work, but I had fun, and he tolerated it.
Yeah, and it was. I
good.
had a really good time. It was a fun little road trip we did. And then like really connecting with Dustin. Like we'd known of each other for a while. We helped Kelsey move a couple years ago. And
Yeah, we also
That's
had
right,
like
yeah.
the FanCon
FanCon stuff, yeah.
Power Up stuff
Power
last
Up
year.
stuff, yeah. Well, and the first Power Up we commentated Mario Kart together.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
forgot about
Yeah,
that.
that
Right,
was
that was fun.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. So yeah, there's like a lot of good moments I had with the people that are in this room, and a lot of good video game moments in
And
general,
more to come.
and more to come. We really started seeing, like me and Kelsey have always been pretty good about seeing movies together, like big movies we're excited about.
Mhm.
Now Dustin is in the loop, so we can talk about the movies and stuff like that. Like the
Yeah.
Star Wars was fun. We'll be doing-
Avengers, I'm pretty pumped for.
yeah, so yeah, a lot of exciting stuff coming up that I'm looking forward to. The potential to play some really classic games that I like with these people who are also passionate about games.
Well, I think what we should do, our next episode, I think we should talk about the future for next year.
Whoa.
Let's lay out some plans.
Lay out some
Bye.
plans as to like what we're looking forward to, like Dragon Ball Z Fighters and that kind
Yeah.
of stuff.
That's a good, because it will
Because
be
this
released in the new year.
episode's looking at the past. Next episode, we should be looking at the future.
Yeah, I agree. I will have my Aeon Flux, or my Flux, not Aeon Flux, my Flux capacitor watch by then.
That you're
So,
going for a real deep cut there.
It is a deep cut, so if we manage to get ourselves going 88 miles per hour, we will definitely be able to go Back to the Future.
Ooh.
You can add the little Back to the Future jingle
Are
there.
you going to be
Great.
the kid at the end of 3 with his hand in his pocket?
I'm the kid in the end of 3 with my hand in my pocket now.
Gross. All right. So before we sign off, what about some recommendations to viewers? Like, what should they from this year? What should they look if they haven't looked at it already? Sorry, we're just
Camera?
That might be.
We ignore
Sorry.
that.
For me, I think my recommendations for people is look at Sonic Mania. Sonic Mania was a great game this year. I wasn't a big fan of what I saw through Sonic Forces, so I'm gonna pass on that. But Sonic Mania is definitely worth a pickup. Persona 5, you talked me into it. Breath of the Wild was great this year. I'm trying to think anything else too. The Pokemon trading card game this year has been picking up a lot this last year at the store, and it's getting even bigger. So I'm looking forward to see how that expands even further.
Yeah, lots of new players, and hopefully have more bigger and better events coming in the next year too.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Kels? Any gaming recommendations?
Mario. If you only pick up one game this year, it should be Mario.
I really want to play Mario.
That was just pure delight from start to end, and I'm actually eager to like start another game, even though there's nothing new for me to do in it. I just want to find the same moons over again.
The one thing I want to start looking at when I remind myself this week is the speed runs. People are now doing any percent speed runs of Mario Odyssey. I want to see that really. I want to see a 4-player race.
And because it's so new, I've watched a couple of speedruns already, but because it's so new, they're rerouting it constantly. So the speedruns are changing from like week to week because they're like, well, if you get the moons in this order, it's totally different. And if you get this other moon that we thought was out of the way before, but now we can get 3.
I want to see that on a Games Done Quick.
Yeah, I think you will probably see that for Summer Games.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah. I love.
Yeah. If you want a role playing game, Persona definitely. Yeah. Mario and Persona are my two. Like you should buy those this year if you haven't already.
Mm-hmm. Paul,
Cuphead. Like
yeah, that's.
I don't care
solid.
if you're a fan of platforming games from Nintendo, Super Nintendo. Buy Cuphead. Like I play very different games from these two guys. But I do have the love for the older games. Like me and Kelsey will get together and play Mario. We'll play, what's that, Castillo games?
Cursed Castilla.
Yeah, we've played Battletoads together. Cuphead is in the same vein. It is so much fun to play by yourself. The art is just captivating. The music gets you in the game. Mm-hmm. If you have a friend to play with, even better.
Co-op's great.
Yeah, it's such a good game. That is on my list of just like, it's a game we don't have to be involved in either. And to me, that's a big thing because I love to sit down and be like really wrapped up in the game, like an RPG or something where you have to really invest your time. But
it's nice to sit down for an hour and take out one boss.
If you're busy with work and you're busy with life and stuff like that, it's nice to have a game where you can just turn it on. There's not a bunch of cutscenes. There's not a bunch of reading. Jump into the action. Play it. You're exercising your memory because you have to memorize stuff. Your reflexes. You know, it's just a really fun game to play.
Every level in that game, once you figure it out, it's like less than 2 minutes. Like, why have I spent 45 minutes beating this 2-minute level?
Yeah, so, like, that's my game of the year just because of those reasons. Like, it takes you back to, like, this is what gaming's all about.
Yep.
Other than that, you know, like Hulk Hogan always said, eat your vitamins and say your prayers, brother.
I was just thinking brother. That's all I was thinking when you said Hulk Hogan. Come on, brother!
There's so many good games out there. I want to hear your guys' recommendations for us about what we should play.
Yeah.
I'm looking for good online co-op multiplayer games that aren't competitive. So if anybody's got anything on Steam they recommend, I know Divinity 2 is being really highly touted.
I've heard so much good stuff about that.
Yeah,
and I really like some of the stuff I've heard specifically about how it's like an actual role-playing game where like you can open a door and there might be stuff in there that's going to kill you right away, and you're like, your character's gone. Like, you're dead. Start over. Like, you shouldn't have been exploring that hard.
Deep, yeah. So that's
you can get rewarded or punished for doing things.
So I want to hear your guys' recommendations for us to play. If there's something that like we talk about and you're like, oh, this is a glaring omission from what you guys have said, or this is right, because we all have our different tastes.
Yeah, I missed out on Nier and Neo this year, our 2 games, and Hellblade too.
Neo,
I missed out on Nier as well.
I had a little bit of time to play Neo with one of my friends in.
It looks so good
in another city, and it was so good. It was so
actually kind of funny because I forgot. I finally picked up Doom this year.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love the music in Doom.
Yeah, the music in Doom.
The gameplay
really
is great.
good.
Like I'm not big on doing like the Doom run around killing demons and whatnot, but the gameplay is great. But the music is awesome.
The music I thought was really good. And I like all the little Easter egg levels that will put you in Wolfenstein or put you in original.
Or finding
Doom.
the little like pop figure Doom guys, and you find the one who's like wearing the original one. He actually loses a little arm up and he gives a little fist bump.
Yeah,
it's like the only one. It's so cute.
Because Wolfenstein did that. Not the newest one, but the one before that did that, where you can go and there's the original Wolfenstein levels, and it's a nightmare your character's having. You play through it. Really good idea.
That's awesome. That's like very reminiscent of Metal Gear 4 because they did that
Yeah.
When you're sleeping and you start playing the original first level of Shadow Moses, and then Snake wakes up.
Yeah. Lost my train of thought.
Recommendations.
Recommendations. Give us your recommendations. Also, I forgot to mention. Tell us what your favorite Christmas movies are, and movies that we should watch as well. Like, get involved. Let us know, because we're interested in what our community has to say and what they have to offer as well.
I think also too, for leading into the next video, I would like to ask any viewers and any players, what are you looking forward to for next year? Because next year's got a lot of interesting titles coming out. So I want to see what people's reactions are as to what's like the top 3 games they're looking most forward to, reasons why, you want this game because you're a super fan of it, or this game looks so beautiful that you don't care if it's horrible, you just want it because it's a brilliant work of art. I want to see what people are looking forward to. So that way also, hopefully too, we can read those comments on the next episode.
Yeah, that'd be great. That's really all I have to say.
Yeah. You mentioned Hulk Hogan. I have a ridiculous urge to watch Suburban Commando.
Yep. Did Hulk Hogan do any Christmas movies?
Not that I remember.
Undertaker's in Suburban Commando.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, he's one of the alien bad guys.
Nice.
Like the main alien bad guy. I know, for some reason, a lot about wrestling, like 1980 to like 2007. I have a very deep well of completely useless wrestling information.
You might want to hang on to that and do that as an episode or something. Anyway, from everybody here from Gamequest TV and the podcast, we want to wish everybody a happy holidays. Again, let us know what you're doing, what your favorite movies are, what you're looking forward to next year, but otherwise have a nice, safe, happy holidays with your family.
Merry Christmas!